5 seconds to go. Start. On the date fixed, the adjudicating officer shall explain to the person proceeded against or his lawyer or authorized representative, the offence, alleged to have been committed by such person, indicating the provisions of the act, rules or regulations in respect of which contravention is alleged to have taken place. Stop. Para. The adjudicating officer shall then give an opportunity to such person to produce such documents or evidence as he may consider relevant to the inquiry, and if necessary, the hearing may be adjourned to a future date, and in taking such evidence, the adjudicating officer shall not be bound to observe the provisions of the Evidence Act, 1872 within bracket 11 of 1872. Stop. Para. Provided that the notice referred to in sub rule 3, and the personal hearing referred to in sub rules 3, 4 and 5 may, at the request of the person concerned, be waived. Stop. Para. The board may appoint a presenting officer in an inquiry under this rule. Stop. Para. While holding an inquiry under this rule, the adjudicating officer shall have the power to summon and enforce the attendance of any person acquainted with the facts and circumstances of the case to give evidence or to produce any document which, in the opinion of the adjudicating officer, may be useful for or relevant to, the subject matter of the inquiry. Stop. Para. If any person fails, neglects or refuses to appear as required by sub rule 3 before the adjudicating officer, the adjudicating officer may proceed with the inquiry in the absence of such person after recording the reasons for doing so. Stop. Para. At the stage of rule 3, the board appoints an adjudicating officer if it is of the opinion that there are grounds for adjudication under any of the provisions in chapter 6A of the SEBI Act. Stop. At this stage, the board only decides whether adjudicating proceedings should be initiated or not. Stop. The formation of opinion is not a formal inquiry proceeding involving any person or persons against whom inquiry is contemplated. Stop. The participation of the person against whom inquiry is contemplated is not necessary. Stop. The board forms its opinion, based on whether there are prima facie materials or grounds for initiation of inquiry. Stop. The opinion of the board under section 3 has nothing to do with the outcome of the inquiry. Stop. Para. After the board forms its opinion to appoint an adjudicating officer, comes the next stage, which is the stage under rule 4 of an inquiry for a judging under sections 15A, whether any person has committed contraventions as specified in those sections. Stop. The inquiry commences with the show cause notice, calling upon the noticee to show cause why an inquiry should not be held against him. Stop. The show cause notice has to specify the nature of offence alleged to have been committed and the penalty proposed, to enable the noticee to effectively reply to the show cause. Stop.